Stuff Out, the show where you send in your questions and I find out the answers. Sorry, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just, I'm doing an experiment. Now, here's the first question from Cordell.
Why do bats sleep upside down?
The short answer is, because they don't have claws on their head to hang on with. Okay, I don't know why bats sleep upside down when they sleep, but by the end of the show, I'll have the answer to your question and a bunch of other cool stuff about sleep.
Why do we yawn when we're sleepy?
Nobody knows why we yawn when we're tired, but it's contagious, like a cold, except you don't get sick. Scientists say we yawn just from seeing other people yawn. Here's an experiment you can do with your family or your friends. Just do this. And chances are, people around you will start to yawn without even thinking about it.
Nobody knows why we yawn. Nobody knows why we yawn. When we yawn, we breathe in oxygen, get the old air out and the new air in. If you yawn, someone else will too, but we don't know why it's something we do. Cause nobody knows why we yawn. Nobody knows why we yawn. We can put a man up on the moon. We can skate on ice in the month of June. We can build a robot to mow our lawn, but nobody knows why we yawn.
Oh, sorry, I'm still doing my experiment. Were you watching carefully? Did you yawn? It turns out it works on chimps too. So next time you're at the zoo, gotcha! Gotcha, yeah, you. Well. It seems that chimps are not the only animals that yawn. In fact, most of them do.
What happens if you sleep your whole life?
Nobody knows, Trevor, because no one slept for their entire life. But there are made-up stories like Rip Van Winkle. He fell asleep for 20 years. But judging by this, if you did sleep your whole life, you'd probably end up looking like Santa Claus, only without the reindeer, red suit, or presents. But in real life, nobody sleeps for 20 years in a row. In the wild, big cats sleep up to 20 hours a day. That's this much. That means they're only awake for 4 hours a day. Because they sleep a lot, they save their energy and don't have to eat as much. Catching your dinner is tiring work. Next question's from Talea.
How much do we sleep?
I've never really thought about how much we sleep in total, but I know that grown-ups sleep 8 hours a night.
Okay, let's see here. 8 hours a night times 7 days a week equals 56 times 52 weeks in a year equals 2,912 times the number of years. Oh my gosh, this is unreal! I can't handle it! Why do I even have a calculator this big?
You're gonna make my head explode! Here we are at a brain research clinic, the perfect place to come after your head explodes and to find out how much we sleep. And here's Anita, a brain specialist.
Hi, Harrison.
Hi. So, Anita, how much time do we sleep?
Approximately 25 years.
25 years? That's a lot of time wasted sleeping. I could do so many better things like play music all night.
Yeah, play music all night. Play music all night.
Well, I'm sorry to say, Harrison, that's just impossible. You just can't do it. Your body would just fall asleep even if you didn't want to.
Shucks! Play music all night. Yeah.
How come we need sleep?
Yeah, why do we need sleep? Anita tells me that it has to do with these guys. Growth hormones. We have to sleep so much because that's when our body produces them. They make kids grow. Sleep is also the time when our body does most of its repair work. So, not me, but that's why other kids have to sleep so much, right?
Sure.
What does your body do when you sleep?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, to answer that question, why don't we do a little experiment? Go put on your PJs.
PJs? Okay.
Destiny, the best way to answer your question is for me to go to sleep. With wires attached to my head.
So I'm ready to go to sleep, and these wires are gonna measure my brain activity while I'm asleep. And no, in case you're wondering, I don't sleep with a teddy bear.
The answer to what happens to your body when you're asleep is in your brain.
So is that a real brain?
Yeah, it's a real cow's brain. It's about the size of a 12-year-old's brain.
Thanks a lot. Now I'm gonna have nightmares.
Okay, we're recording. Good night, Harrison.
So I went to sleep while a camera watched how I moved. And the wires on my head sent signals to a computer that drew my brainwaves. It showed how active my brain was. Then, Anita showed me what happened to my body while I slept.
Harrison, this is when you're awake.
Okay.
As you can see, your brain waves are smaller.
Here, my brainwaves are small. That shows that I'm still awake. Then the waves get bigger as my body slows down and I go into a light sleep.
You can see that your brain activity is starting to change.
Yeah, it goes more jagged there.
Yep, the waves are bigger, which means you're starting to fall asleep. These are what's called sleep spindles.
Okay.
So that means you're around stage 2, so you're asleep now.
Okay.
Your breathing is still constant and your muscles are still moving.
Scientists measure sleep in 5 stages. The waves show how I am asleep now. And as the night goes on, my sleep gets deeper. Then, something suddenly changes.
All of a sudden, you see really
Yeah, that's
a lot of fluctuations up and down.
wow. Big change.
Yep.
The 5th stage of sleep is when you dream. It's called REM, which stands for rapid eye movement. It's called that because our eyes move around very fast while we sleep. Our dreams feel so real, but we don't move.
And even your muscles, you can see now change completely. So your muscles are paralyzed and you can't move. And the only muscles that can move are the muscles for breathing, your eyes, and for hearing.
Wow.
It's believed we can't move because it's nature's way to prevent us from acting out our dreams and getting hurt.
How come when my sister sleepwalks, she can go up and down a ladder?
Well, we don't exactly know why people sleepwalk, but we do know that she's probably in stage 3 or 4 of her sleep because in REM, your muscles are paralyzed, so you can't move. Children tend to sleepwalk more than adults, and you tend to grow out of it.
Is it dangerous to sleepwalk?
No. You tend to do everyday activities like fold your clothes or walk up and down the stairs.
It's really weird. I'd probably go to the fridge or play drums.
Well, it's nice to know that sleepwalking is not dangerous. Except if you bump into something. That your brain is smart enough to keep your heart beating, even when you sleep. And finally, that sleep does help kids grow. We really do need to go to bed.
Thanks, Anita. And thanks a lot for the nightmares.
Are you feeling better?
Much better.
Why do we have good and bad dreams?
To sleep, perchance to dream. Why indeed do we have good and bad dreams? Verily, I believe that it was not the large, lip-smackingly yummy pepperoni pizza that I has eaten before bed that caused my bad dream. Nay, methinks it was the work of a demon! The mare part in nightmare is Old English for demon. That's because people used to think bad dreams were caused by night demons. Nowadays, we know the only person that can give you a nightmare is yourself. Though, having pizza before bedtime probably isn't the best idea, Your body wants to rest, not digest. But nightmares can't hurt you, so next time you're having one, think of an ending that's not scary. Say you have a dream that you're in your room when all of a sudden, instead of being scared, oh, you again. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You're that scary nightmare my imagination created. Well, I've decided you're not so scary anymore. Nope, you're not that scary. Instead, you're gonna be a balloon. Goodbye, nightmare. See you later. That's better. So, next time you have a bad dream, remember, you're in charge, not the thing that's scaring you. Just turn that dream into something fun, like this one, my personal favorite. I can fly! Experts say a lot of kids dream about flying. They say when we're having this kind of dream, we're allowing ourselves to experience success by using our imagination and courage. Woo! I just flew it from Las Vegas. Man, are my arms tired. Hey, what's that baby head doing in my dream?
Street smarts.
So everybody sleeps, right?
Yeah.
But I want to know about your dreams. So what is your weirdest dream you've ever had?
My weirdest dream was when I was getting chased by a giant pink robot. I turned into a director, and then I keep saying action, and everybody's not listening to me, and then a random blue pig keeps coming and dancing. My weirdest dream was when 10,000 cats were chasing me.
A dog ate me.
Your dog ate you?
Yes, he ate me, and when he spit me out, I turned into E.T.
When ninja was attacking me, like with ninja stars and stuff for no reason.
A lion comes into town and eats a chicken bone. He goes into the store, and then he eats the chicken bones from in there, and everyone runs out screaming like they're getting chased. I turned into a Lego guy, and I had the secret lair and stuff. My weirdest dream is when a blue kangaroo was chasing me for no reason. My weirdest dream is when I turned into a blueberry.
A blueberry?
When I turned into a small person and a guinea pig was chasing after me.
Turned into a cloud and I floated all the way to China, and when I came back, I became a new normal human again.
Well, there it is. I'll tell you that my weirdest dream was when I went to this really weird school with some really weird kids, and they started telling me about all their weird dreams. Zombies! Dreams aren't the only thing we do when we're sleeping, as Adonijah points out.
How come when grandpas sleep, they snore so loud?
I was going to ask your grandpa, but he was sleeping. And by the way, he does snore loudly. But I checked, and anybody can snore, no matter what age they are. When you sleep, your body relaxes, including all this stuff. When it relaxes, all that stuff in your throat blocks your air passages. So, you breathe harder to get air. Then that stuff vibrates, making the snoring noise. But we do tend to snore more as we get older. That's because our muscles get weaker. So all that stuff is looser and blocks out air passages. And that's why Grandpa snores so loud. Even if you're young and not overweight, you can still snore. Uh-oh. Do try this at home. You can try the snoring experiment right now as it happens. First, tighten up your nasal cavities right here. Then, breathe in and you should be able to make a sound like this. Did you get it? So next time you want to stay up late reading comics under the covers with a flashlight, if your parents come along, Tarzan, are you still up? You can fool them into thinking you're sleeping.
No, I guess he's asleep.
never told you that, all right?
Why don't fish die when they sleep?
So to answer Yarn's question, I'm here with marine specialist Nicole Can, who can answer your question. Hi. So why don't fish die when they sleep?
It's a really great question, and mostly it's because they don't sleep the same way that we do. They never get to sort of nestle into the kelp and have really sweet fishy dreams, whatever they dream about. Instead, they keep sleeping while they're swimming. So as they go around, they can shut down most of the energy levels in their bodies, keep taking in water through their mouths and passing it over their gills, but they're not really paying attention to what they're doing. They're sort of zoned out. As soon as a predator comes by, though, they can snap awake and swim away.
So it's kind of like sleepwalking.
Maybe sleep swimming.
Sleep swimming.
Do whales sleep?
So do whales sleep?
Absolutely they do, but they sleep completely differently than we do. It's actually my favorite thing about these whales. Like Keela here, she can turn off half of her brain at a time. Because they're mammals, like we are, they have to breathe just the same as we do. But they have to think about every single breath they take. So while one half is asleep, the other half keeps them going up to the surface to grab air, and then they can switch. And they keep going back and forth until they've had enough rest, and they can get on with their day.
It's a little strange.
A little bit.
So do they sleep the same amount that we do?
Absolutely not. First of all, they never sleep for as long as we do. But some whales, dolphins, and even killer whales, when they're babies, they might not sleep at all for the first month of their life.
They don't sleep? Their parents must be more tired than mine. What about other creatures like sea otters?
Sea otters sleep too, but they do it at the surface. So they get a big group together, and sometimes they'll even actually hold paws like this to make sure that nobody floats away while they're sleeping. So everybody from whales to otters to fish, everybody sleeps, but they all sleep a little bit differently than we do. Harrison?
I checked, and it's not only sea creatures that sleep differently than we do. Monkeys and chimpanzees like to sleep in the trees where they're safer from animals that could sneak up and attack them if they were on the ground. Giraffes and elephants don't have to worry very much about getting eaten, except when they are sleeping. So they need only 3 hours of sleep a day. Birds can even snooze for 30 seconds at a time when they're in the air. That's how they manage to fly non-stop when they fly away for the winter and return in the spring. Some animals sleep during the day. They don't get busy till night, like raccoons, hamsters, fireflies, and, you guessed it, bats. And Cordell, that takes us back to your question that kicked off the show.
Why do bats sleep upside down?
The big answer is to make a quick getaway. Say, poor Mr. Bat is asleep when a hungry raccoon spots him. A bird could just quickly fly up and away, but poor old Mr. Bat can't take off fast like a bird. His wings aren't strong enough. He can only start to fly by dropping into the air. So what's the bat gonna do? Suddenly, that old raccoon lunges at Mr. Bat. Mr. Bat lets go and drops through the air. He gets up enough speed to start flying and make his getaway. Whoa, that story had me hanging on the edge of my seat. When you hang on to something, you have to think about tightening your hands around it. But for a bat, it's the opposite. Their claws naturally close. They have to consciously make them open. That keeps them from falling when they're asleep. So they have to wake up and let go and start flying. And that is why they sleep upside down. And just for the record, this position is very uncomfortable. Thanks for watching Finding Stuff Out. See you next time. Ow.
Nobody knows why we yawn. Nobody knows why we yawn. When we yawn, we breathe in oxygen, get the old air out and the new air in. If you yawn, someone else will too, but we don't